On today's episode of Taking 5, feels good to say, we have a continuation of our interview with Dionysia, rock band out of Boston. It's getting super popular, really good music. I keep talking to them about, their struggles as a band, how they've gotten to where they are, their next step of trying to get into festivals, getting into Boston Calling, which I'm sure they'll be in next year. And today's episode is brought to you by bananas. I like bananas. Actually, I'll tell you a little bit about my history with bananas. I didn't used to like bananas. I used to hate bananas. I never liked the mushy kind of texture. I feel like they're only really perfectly ripe for like a day. And if you get it too early, it's like it has that weird mealy feeling to it and doesn't have any flavor. But if you get it a day too late, it's kind of mushy and brown and weird and gross. And I like exercising sometimes, and it's just such a great thing to eat before or after you exercise. Reduce those cramps if you're going for a run, maybe help the muscles recover a little quickly. I also don't really know any other ways to get potassium in my system. So bananas, eat bananas. Free advertisement for bananas. Go get them at your local grocery store. I don't care what brand. I don't actually know any banana brands. Does anyone know any banana brands? Dole? Does Dole make bananas? I don't know. Go Dole. Go buy some Dole bananas. All right. Here's Dionysia.
When it comes down to booking tours and shows, you got to do it so far in advance that, like, for instance, right now we're already looking ahead to next summer to festival applications. So.
Oh wow! Have you guys done the festival before? The festival
no.
thing? No, not yet. Where are you flying to?
We were supposed to play some bigger festival shows this summer that were canceled. The one.
We're supposed to play at Angry Orchard's Rock the Roost Festival with Humphreys McGee.
Whoa.
Yeah, Young the Giant and.
Oh shit.
Young the Giant and who is it? Like Milky Chance.
Oh yeah.
Were supposed to play in Boston, but they ended up canceling the tour like very randomly last minute.
And they didn't tell you why.
We didn't even find out until we saw it on Facebook as like the public post. So we were that was like, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
We were loving to play that. So, but we really love like playing festivals. Even like we've only really played a couple small ones, but we're gradually like working up to it. And I know like we're definitely a band that sort of feeds off of the energy of a crowd.
Oh yeah, I can
oh my god, it's just like a dream. But we're definitely trying to
play. I mean, I don't see why you couldn't. I feel like when you like see like the Boston Calling or Burning Man, whatever festival you may have, like it starts with the big names. It's like Rihanna, Eminem, then would go down to like a Young the Giant, and then it gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And then for me, because I know a decent amount of music, but like I do a very poor job of like finding new music. Like I usually rely on my friends. Like I'll literally be like, hey, who have you been listening to lately? Like send me if I know that they have similar music taste. So usually for me, once it gets to like medium size, I'm like, I haven't heard of any of these people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where do you guys think you'd be in terms of small to large name on like a Boston Calling? I think you'd be in like the top of the bottom third, if that makes sense.
That's pretty generous.
But like to be completely honest, like I feel like I look up some of these bands at the bottom, and like I've talked to bands that are much newer, and they're like, oh yeah, like we played a Boston Calling. We were just like the last fucking one on the list. They were like the smallest name possible.
That is our goal for next year.
Boston Calling.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool.
That little itty bitty name. On the
but
bottom.
then the next year you're like the fourth biggest name, and the next year you're like the 10th biggest or the 10th smallest.
It's almost like I feel like it's like a rite of passage though, because when you play,
absolutely,
and you're like the bottom on the the band on the very bottom of the roster, no one really knows you, so you can go play and then just like go enjoy the festival without people bugging you.
Yeah, honestly, you can literally play, walk off stage, and be like, "I'm gonna watch the next set." Like,
I'm gonna go catch that Tame Impala set. Like, I'm done for the day. Sick. This is sweet.
Yeah, and I also feel like it's you play during the day, not at night. So I went to this festival in Seattle a couple years ago. I think they actually just stopped doing it. What the fuck was it called? Sasquatch. I don't know if you ever heard of it. Music festival.
I feel like I have.
It actually was pretty. I think it was pretty well known. It's at the 2-hour drive east of Seattle. There's this place called the Gorge. It's like a pretty famous concert venue where it's like literally in the middle of this giant canyon. Wow. So it's really cool. And Anderson .Paak headline, which is sick.
We saw him at Boston Calling.
Dude, he's
unreal, man.
Oh my god, I think I've mentioned him on like half of the podcast. He's like my fucking idol.
Another one.
Another one. But he was the headliner, so like he was at night, and like everyone went to see him at 11:30 or midnight, whatever. But then like at like 4 p.m., it's all these like smaller bands playing, and like there's people milling about. There's like some people watching, but there's a lot of people just kind of hanging out in the lawn, like half listening, half chatting, like. That I feel like to be that band must be so like laid back. They're just like, there's not a ton of pressure. We're just like having fun playing at a venue, and then when our set's done, we're just here for the weekend.
See, that's what's interesting to me is you see some bands that it doesn't seem like a lot of people are there for that band or like actually watching their set. But the only way they got into the festival is because they have a proven draw in that area. So
right.
I'm always confused. Like, me
interesting.
and Garrett, when we were at Boston Calling, we're like, wait a second, like we could get a lot of people here. Why,
Yeah, like maybe even more than some of the acts who theoretically don't have a draw.
Right. Well, sometimes maybe it's because they're on tour and they have a bigger global presence or something. But,
right.
It is definitely pretty complicated, and really the only thing that we can do is just keep applying and keep playing music and trying to grow. So.
Right, but that's great. Just keep applying. Never stop applying.
Yeah, Boston Calling is definitely like. That's like upper echelon for us. I mean, there are a surprising number of festivals that happen like all the time though. And they're like small town like obscure festivals that still have like tens of thousands of people.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't snow in the South.
Yeah, true.
What's it called?
It doesn't snow in the South.
Oh, it doesn't snow. Gotcha. Is that a saying?
I mean, it doesn't. I was just thinking there's probably festivals going on year round.
I see what you're saying.
For a split second, I thought like it doesn't snow in the South was actually like the name of a music.
That was my second. My first was like, is that a saying that I haven't heard? And second was like, is that a festival? Is that one of the aforementioned small festivals?
You guys trying to start a festival in the South?
Yeah, it doesn't snow in the South. In like the middle of West Virginia or something like that. Like, doesn't snow down here. That's really cool. So. Boston Calling was one of the goals. What are some other goals for the next year?
Levitate Music Fest is one for sure. I know a bunch of friends who are like frequent levitators.
We're thinking about South by Southwest too in Texas.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we played Austin
for a while.
Yeah. So you might have to take a couple days off for that one from work.
Yeah, just to make it there. Find our way back to our room.
Yeah, honestly,
I've heard it's pretty. I've never actually been before.
I've never been either.
I've heard it's pretty.
I've actually never been to Texas.
Texas is cool.
I want to go. Not right now, but like in December.
Yeah.
How hot was Atlanta?
Hot Atlanta.
Hot. Was it really hot?
It was quite humid.
It was, I think, 95 degrees on both days. It was,
but then like 80% humidity.
My Canadian blood was boiling.
Yeah. Oh, you're from Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, where in Canada?
Well, I grew up in Vermont, but my parents are Canadian.
Okay, gotcha. Vermont's like southern Canada, basically.
They tried to become part of Canada. They weren't allowed.
Yeah, they're like, all right, I guess we'll stay here. Vermont is so cool, dude. I'm so jealous you guys are from Vermont. I like top 5 state for sure. I love Vermont.
Bottle-fed maple syrup to last 10.
Maple syrup. It is really cool. You guys, you've been to Woodstock, I would assume. Vermont?
Like Woodstock, Vermont?
Yeah, I did a jazz camp.
Sorry, not the festival. You did a what?
I did a jazz camp there once when I was in high school, yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. That's like one of my favorite towns to ever grace the earth.
Woodstock's a cool town.
Woodstock is cool. And there's also Woodstock, New Hampshire. Not as cool.
Woodstock, New Hampshire. I'm pretty sure there's a Woodstock, New York.
There's a lot of. I'm fairly confident.
I'm pretty sure.
It's like Springfield. There's just like one in every state.
Did you know that in the Simpsons movie, Springfield, Vermont was voted to be like the actual Springfield?
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were gonna hit me with the like. There's a Springfield in every state, and I was like,
oh yeah, but no, that's
the joke.
That's
right?
the bit.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. Springfield, Vermont was voted by like a jury of the Simpsons peers.
Simpsonians. Yeah.
Yo, that movie. How long ago do you think that movie came out?
I don't know, but
that's gonna make me feel old.
Think about Spider Pig right now.
Spider Pig.
Spider Pig. Spider Pig.
Good stuff. Green Day got on that, got the gig there.
Oh wow, they did.
Remember that when it was like Simpsons Green Day?
That's we'll know we've made it when we make it into the next
Simpsons movie.
Yeah. And people know who we are,
even as a couple years. Yeah. Would you write like how would you guys approach the Simpsons theme? Green Day did it. They did the electric guitar. Wah, 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 wah. How would you do sax?
Really weird, strange synth intro,
Yeah.
and then just like saxophone over
Yeah,
it.
I think
It would have to be a Barry sax, though, of course.
And then
of course,
and
can't do
then
alto.
marimba
Oh yeah,
and a rain stick.
I like it.
You don't need anything else, so that's it.
Yeah. What's the weirdest percussion instrument you guys have used in the studio?
Wait. At Antics, didn't we slap Will's belly?
I think we did, yeah.
For what? Like a drum sound, or for just like a little layer in the background?
It was, if you listen closely to Pyrite Promises, there's a.
That's amazing. Well, what's the in Carried Away? That hits every. That probably sounded horrible in people's headphones, but you know what I mean. That hits on every downbeat in the chorus.
Yeah.
What is that? Is that just a kick drum with a fuckload of reverb?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's like a marching drum
Ah.
that
Yeah.
Santo.
Yeah, it was something he sampled and kind of just blew up. And
Yeah. That was like one of those situations where we recorded it and we're like, all right, yeah, well, we're coming back for the next session. And we came back and he's like, guys, I got so excited about this song. Like, okay, we're like, whoa. All right.
That's cool. So I don't know, do any of you guys have a production background at all? Like the mouse clicky stuff?
Not like professionally or anything.
No, you're not professionally, but like
we have plans to start doing that.
Yeah.
Garrett especially wants to start getting into that too. And honestly, the more that we record and the more time we spend with studio engineers, the more that we learn. And
well, that's what I was gonna say.
Want to do it, so
Right. Yeah. Like at a certain point, like when you're sitting behind the computer, I feel like you pick up a lot just by watching.
right.
Yeah.
Do you get to the point where you're like, I mean, obviously it's a back and forth, but you're like, oh, you should try this. Like,
Kind of. And I feel less bad about saying that shit now than I
Right.
did when I was younger, because you say it and you're like, when you're younger, you say it and you're like, wait a minute, like, that's probably a good thing you didn't do that.
yeah, exactly.
That's like crap. No, but and then now it's like, okay, like I see what he's doing there,
Right.
And it's less of like hey, do this. It's like, can we try this?
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I mean it's delivery, but I will say I think one goal, at least for myself, is to be able to get to the point with us like demoing our own music that you could take like the stems from your home recording eventually, and like, I want to start learning Pro Tools and Ableton and whatnot, and have that and take that and be able to bring it to the studio as a demo, and then if it's good enough that like the sound fits with what you've built around it, then
Right.
just, like, leave it in there.
Yeah,
like,
you don't even have to re-record it.
Yeah, and there's a podcast called Song Exploder. I don't know if you've ever heard
Yeah.
Love that.
So good.
And there was a couple actually. I think it was like a Mumford & Sons one. And it was,
wow.
It was like the original guitar demo that they had done. Just it had so much soul to it because it was like when Marcus Mumford was like writing this song.
Right. So it was his original, like him discuss. When you like
Yeah.
come up with that riff for the first time and you're playing, you're like, this is the shit right
There's
here.
some magic to it.
It's
yeah.
tough to recreate that initial discovery moment.
Right, exactly. And so
Yeah.
that was what was so fascinating about listening. It's like, all I've known recording to be is sort of, this like process of perfecting things. When it sort of like changed my perception a little bit. It's like, okay, now, the perfection will come from everything sitting where it should.
Right.
And like all the right elements being there, but like the soul of the song is going to come from those like that emotion that you're bringing.
Exactly.
To it,
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I think that as long as we're operating independently, we're just gonna keep trying to do as much as we can on our own, improve our abilities to make high quality demos and make great sounds in our own studio space, and hopefully that'll also lead to saving some money in the studio down the road.
Yeah. Do you guys have a home setup?
Working on it.
Working on it? Yeah.
We're practicing at the Sound Museum in Brighton right now. And
Okay, cool.
It's working pretty well, but the problem for demoing there is that the walls are paper thin, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of bands in there that I don't think we would be going out to see very, very often.
Yeah, that's fair. And you're sharing, like, it's not just you don't have the whole space to yourself.
We
or
have our
anything
own
like that.
space now, finally.
Okay.
We were sharing a space for far too long, but this year was the first year we finally transitioned into our own space.
Chrono, see, you get the next level. You can't. You're not plateauing. You know what I mean? You're on the upward climb.
Started from the bottom.
Yeah, no, you're here. Oh, it's a good segue. Start from the bottom. Okay, so we obviously kind of jumped right in. Definitely wasn't planned, that segue. But how did you guys get started? Yeah, no, we're doing this in the reverse order.
Diving way back.
Yeah.
So back in high school, the high school we went to had like different cores. Like think of like houses like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And Alex, Julian, and I were all in the same core. So Alex and I played soccer together.
Cool.
And we like kind of became friends through soccer. We didn't know each other all that well, but like I knew he played drums and he knew I played guitar. But I don't know, like we had talked about making music. I probably went to like every other drummer I could just because like I didn't know him and you know.
And you're like, fine, you're the only one left.
Well, like everyone kind of was like, yo, if you want to like start a band, Alex is the guy to start a band with.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, okay. And I ended up, I think I jammed with him once on one project sophomore year, and we like jammed a little bit here and there. And I was playing in a band actually at the time, and like we sucked,
as all high school bands do.
But like he would come and listen to us practice in the practice space at school. And he'd like give suggestions for songwriting. And then one day I remember I was like getting food in the cafeteria and my other friends were like smoking weed behind the school. And I was really pissed at them. I was like pissed because I was like, oh, come on, guys, like right before practice. And then I came up to like the music room and Alex, who had a broken foot at the time, was like shredding this drum beat on this drum set with like a boot on. And I was like,
like, all right.
I'm in the wrong band. Yeah. and so it was like this like delicate process of like cutting ties with these other guys and like immediately starting this band with Alex at the same time. And it was just like a very organic kind of like jamming in the basement, kind of like riffing on things duo. But we both had ambitions of like getting a bass player to come on board. And we ended up playing with this guy, Will, who's still a very good friend of ours. And like, by senior year, like we knew Julian was a kick-ass sax player, and I sang with him in men's chorus, and so it kind of became friends in men's chorus.
Okay,
it was nice actually singing together, and then like got together and jammed for the first time, and like, I don't know.
To be honest, the turning point for me is I was playing in like the orchestra, not the orchestra, the wind ensemble and the jazz band a lot, and we got to senior year, the jazz band got a lot worse than that last year, and it was like, oh man,
I'm getting out of here.
And I went into the auditorium once for this school function, and the current Dionysus was playing for like 500 kids, and I was like, wow, that's more people than I've ever played with the jazz band. Like, what the hell?
You're like, I'm in the wrong band.
Yeah, so it was really cool. And they had a sax player, and I was like a little bit like, I was like, shit, I can play sax better than that. I want to be in this band.
Yeah.
And, they were also like, he started not wanting to play with them as much either. And so I think that's when I decided I wanted to go and start playing with them.
And did you like audition, or you were just like, you guys were just like,
I just came and jammed in. It was one of your bedrooms, I think, at Alex's house, and it was really small
and really loud.
So loud.
Alex is a very, very loud drummer.
I'm a loud drummer too.
He's like a growl. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like sometimes like in practice, like my bands would be like, dude, like, can you please play choir? I'm like if I play choir, it just like, I won't be good. You know what I mean? Like I'm used to playing.
I'll be
loud.
honest. That experience was not great for me. I was like, wow, this is
bad
I think Alex, you guys were trying to show off what you've been working on, and I was so loud that I couldn't do any. I was like, oh,
you can't even hear my own saxophone.
You were like playing through you were playing like a keyboard through an amp.
I didn't have any equipment, so like I was like hooking up to your guys' stuff, and finally we were in the basement and starting to actually to work on the songs and work on the album.
Yeah. Damn. So this is high school still?
This is high school, and then so like we all went off to college. Alex and I went off to college first because we like graduated a year before these guys in high school, and then like I went to Ireland. Didn't know if we were gonna keep doing the band.
Yeah.
Like, came back. We all kind of decided we wanted to keep doing it. It's when we changed the name to Dionysia.
Right.
And then fast forward a couple years of playing, we did Antics, we did The Breach. We our buddy Will, he parted ways very amicably. He kind of wanted to pursue some other things in his life, and this guy Josh, who Alex and I had jammed with like once or twice on occasion. We knew he was a really good bassist, and so we like basically we're like, hey, learn this Incubus song. If you can learn this Incubus song, you can be in our band.
Yeah.
And he's like, learn the Incubus song. And we're like, oh, shit, that was really easy. This
Like,
guy's really good.
He's like, oh, I already know it.
Yeah, I was up in Canada. I was like, I need to hear something at least before.
Before just saying yes to this guy. Well, because not only does the musician fit matter, but the personality fit matters too.
Yeah.
So you knew Josh already, right?
I like knew of him. I'd seen him around campus, but I'd never, I mean, he actually lived 2 floors above Alex and I in the apartment building we were living in.
Oh, okay.
So I'd like seen him come in and out, and I think the way they ended up like interacting initially was Josh was like walking into the apartment and Alex was walking out, and he's like, "Hey, you're the drummer, right?" And Alex immediately was like, "Oh shit!" Like I thinks I've been playing too loud. And like, yeah, like like we should jam sometime. So I got home from class and Alex was like upstairs making music, and so I just like grabbed my amp and went upstairs and we just jammed.
Yeah,
it was fun.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in college. When do you first release music?
Well, so before that happened, we were flying, or I flew over to New York. They were driving over to New York every now and then to record Antics.
Oh yeah, sorry.
So you recorded it in New York.
Yeah, I skipped a little bit. That was the part where I was like, fast forward. We did Antics.
Yeah. It's all good.
We that was a lot. So after the summer before college or anything, when we were still doing like riding the high of being high school seniors, then we're free. We got contacted by this producer, and he was like, "Hey, I really want to work with you guys. I saw some of your stuff on SoundCloud." And so
SoundCloud demos.
Hey,
SoundCloud demos. Yeah.
Are they still out? Are they still out there?
They might be. Maybe.
Actually, the guy who made the demos for us, he's been doing lights for us at our shows.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's super.
The guy in high
Full
school
circle.
did demos for us. Yeah, Kyle Rose. Shouts.
Shout out, Kyle.
But yeah, no, we went down to this studio called Westfall down in Long Island, and like we drove down all together once to check it out, and we're like, yeah, this is legit. Let's do this. Drove back up to to Vermont, and then went to school.
Right.
And then it was like the entire. I think we went back down all together for the first session. Did like pre-production on all the songs, kind of figured out what we were doing, laid down drum tracks, and then like every weekend after that, I basically like took the train from my dorm down to South Station, took a bus from South Station to Penn Station, took the LIRR from Penn Station out to Farmingdale.
Wow.
Like camped out at the studio for the weekend and then did the same track back for like a month.
Wow.
But
that's commitment right there. How long was that door to door?
It was about 7 hours.
Oh, it's actually not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
From like I think it was like it's about a 5-hour drive down via bus to New York.
Right.
And then from there out to Long Island, it's like maybe 45 minutes. And probably like 45 minutes on the T.
Right, exactly.
But it was like lugging around my guitar, my amp, and my like portfolio case with all the stuff I had from class. It was hefty.
Yeah.
However,
but those are some memories right there.
It pales in comparison to Julian flying from Canada down with his keyboard, getting a taxi. Wait, didn't you get a taxi from the airport somewhere and then Will picked you up?
Yeah, I got there really late. It was like 3 a.m. or something.
Oh my God. Did you go to school in Canada?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's still, I only had to do it for one weekend, so it wasn't too bad.
You still have to fly.
Yeah.
I mean, flying is intensive, man.
The funniest part about it is we actually forgot to record the piano part for our last track on their Move You. And so I recorded it in my dorm room as a MIDI file.
And then just sent it over. Been there for sure.
This has been Now You Know with Dionysia.
Yeah. I like don't really play keys. Like I can, but I'm not like trained at all. And the dude who was in my like college band who now has his own band going on, I like had this one song that I just wanted to like finish, and we were trying to think of a piano part, and I had like a really basic, simple piano part. And I was like, this is fine, but like it could be so much better. So I literally called the studio. I was like, if I send you this song, and he lives in New York, and I'm in Boston, so I'm like, if I send you this song, can you just like play a MIDI piano part, just record it and just like send it back to me? Like that would be so nice. And it was like 3 times as good as anything I could have done.
Oh hell yeah.
So no stranger to the like, remote MIDI/audio file bouncing game.
Does the job. That's
Internet's
for sure.
a crazy thing,
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah. So Antics, you record that. So you said this is the summer before, or no? Sorry, this is the first year of college for you.
Yeah.
Right.
This is like fall of 2012.
Wow.
13.
Okay.
2013.
And then when you released it, did you do any like promo or anything like that? Did you just put it out? Had you already been playing shows and things like that?
We didn't really know how to do promo. Period.
I mean, yeah, most people don't.
I think we were still operating without a manager at the time, so we kind of just, I don't know. Once we had recorded it, our producer Santo was like, "You guys got to tour this to promote it," and that was the first time we were like, "Oh yeah, tour. We'll do regional." He's like, "You should do a national."
Wait,
tour.
we have to play shows?
Wait, you mean we can't just hang out? Yeah.
Yeah, but and so when we recorded it, we were like, okay, well, we should do a tour in the summer, and sort of figured out if we are gonna do that. Which you have to understand, when we were in the studio and he's first telling us this, it's like, you want us to do what? we're 18, 19
yeah,
years
exactly.
old. You want us to
like,
plan and buy a van and drive around the United States? And fast forward, however many years it's been, we're like, yeah, we're gonna fly and cart all of our shit around all over the United States. So it's
right. But when you're first hearing that prospect as 18 and 19-year-olds, you're like, what? How do I do that?
We had no idea how to do it.
We had a lot of help, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like what Garrett just said is we have to buy a van and tour, but we actually did, and that experience, I think, was probably one of the reasons why we've all been so passionate to keep it going, because, those are the things where, you look back on it and you're like, we actually did it.
Right.
And we're here now, and, people liked it, and we've got a lot of fans from that tour, so.
So you did the tour, shortly after releasing it?
Yeah, we released it in January of 2014.
Okay.
And then we spent the spring sort of coordinating a route to go on.
Mm-hmm.
And then
We did it all in August, I think. Or actually, in July, I think we did the whole tour. Yeah.
And were you just hitting up people once you figured out your route? What was the route?
So the route, I think we decided to go. We started in Boston, where did we start? We started in Maine. We started in Maine, played up in Maine, and then went down to Boston, and then I think we went to New York and Philly, DC.
Yeah,
We
nice.
pretty much went
Little
down the
northeast
whole
tour.
East
Yeah,
Coast
yeah.
and over to Texas, and then looped back around. But
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
We
Yeah, it
tried
was-
to do as much as we could in that chain.
Right. And were you just hitting up? You still didn't have a manager at this point, you said, right?
No, it was all.
So were you just hitting up people and hey, I'm gonna be in DC. I'm just gonna just research. Okay, here are some bars that take independent artists, and just hit them up and see if they respond.
Yeah, there was actually some places we'd heard of. There's a really awesome resource we used called Indie on the Go. I think they're I think they were still pretty new when we found them. But
Okay.
it's basically this bunch of guys who used to play in big touring bands who realize from doing it how difficult it is to book shows independently. So they have all this collective knowledge in this database of venues and bands that you can pay them a little bit, and they'll help you send out a blanket email to all these places.
Oh, that's so
reaching
nice.
out, and then from there it's up to you to sort of
Follow up
on those leads. But that helped a lot, and it was definitely a pretty lengthy process, solidifying dates and figuring out other bands and promotion. And really, really good learning experience though.
Well, it's smart that you guys, like you said, you've been playing the slow game, and that's a perfect example. And I mean, honestly, it's one of those things where you're all right, we release music, we want to go on tour next month. It's fine. We'll hit up people. It's no, give yourself 4 months, way longer than you think you need.
At least. And a lot of venues book bands out 6 to 8 months in advance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's you don't realize that unless you're hitting up a venue 2 months out. I'm plenty of time. Dude, we've had this filled for. You're asking for a Saturday. You're asking for a Saturday at this 250 cap venue 2 months out.
And it's funny because you wouldn't think that was a ridiculous request, but then you get in the industry and you start going tour, and you're like, okay, that's a ridiculous request.
Yeah.
If it has any notoriety, the place that you're playing at.
We definitely had our fair share of idiot moments where like,
of course, but
like don't leave your gear out on the side of the road in DC at 2:00 in the morning with no one manning it.
Did you get something stolen?
Surprisingly, only like a guitar stand.
That's like the least valuable thing they could have taken.
I mean, it was a Hercules guitar stand. It's like $50, man, or more.
That's still annoying. Don't get me wrong. That's a bummer. That would give. That's a bad week right there.
Julian's again shaking his head. he's not proud of me.
Hey, it happens. But again, like you have these learning experience, and I feel like things like that, it's like they suck in the moment, but now it's like you can laugh about it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's a learning experience.
Right. That's cool. So you do the tour to promote Antics. From before the tour to afterwards, was there like a holy shit, look at all these people that are listening to us? Like, oh my, like, I guess how did it change things for you?
Well, we figured out how to play shows together.
That definitely helps.
And that helped. And then we played a show. We opened for the Kongos in our hometown when we got back, and that was like this really incredible opportunity. It was our favorite venue growing up. I had seen all my favorite like dubstep artists there and stuff when I was like, you know, a little baby 16-year-old. And
hey, I had my dubstep phase. Don't worry.
And we got a lot of fans out of that show. And I think that's kind of when we were done with that tour, we were like, you know, I think we could do this. I think we're off to a good start.
Yeah, I agree. I think we've had that experience a couple times too since then, and every time you have that experience, it's like, yeah, there's that affirmation, like affirming like what we're doing.
Right.
The tour was fun. There were definitely a lot of shows that weren't like, you know, nobody knew us and nobody cared.
Of course. Yeah.
So
we joke in DC. They were like, there's this band that went on before this that there were a lot of people there at this venue, and it was awesome. We're like, this night's gonna be a good night, guys. We're headlining, and the band that went on before us was just like really heavy, like strange, like deathcore.
Yeah, just
and
it was a small bar too.
Yeah,
very small.
Yeah,
and they like literally everyone but
they
two
just
people
emptied the place.
Just two like
those two people came after, I think too. They emptied the whole room.
Two people like they're just like on a date, you know. Like and there's this band from Vermont playing up there, and they came up to us afterwards and talking to us. But we joke around. We're like, you know, if it's like a show we're playing and we're not, you know, we haven't played there before and there's not a huge crowd, we're like, it's better than DC.
Yeah, that's super funny. But I feel like everyone has that low moment where it's like you literally are playing, or like you're watching your crowd leave. You're like, stay 30 more minutes. You know what I mean?
I feel like it teaches you to play. You're not like playing for other people. Like you should first be playing for yourself.
Right.
Like you should be up there like enjoying yourself and enjoying like the energy of being in the moment, regardless of whether or not the crowd's packed or not.
Yeah.
You know, that's what keeps it genuine, I think.
For sure.
Yeah.
I had a similar moment at the first show that my band played, like I think in like March or April or so of this past year. You guys heard of McGann's Pub?
Yeah.
Have you played there?
No. Where is McGann's?
You don't need to play there. It's like right across from TD Garden.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like in one of those little like side alleys. It's actually huge, and it's like not a bad performance space. I only have one experience there. We actually are playing there again in like a month, but it like, so we were on at midnight, which not an ideal time, midnight on a Friday, but I was like, it's a Friday, like, you know, maybe people will be out and about. We get there at like 8, then there were like 4 bands playing, so it was like 9 p.m., 10 p.m., 11 p.m., midnight. We get there at 8, and there's like, you know, the other bands are milling around. We load our stuff in, we're like, all right, well, we're not playing for 4 hours, so we're going to leave and come back. So we left, came back like an hour and a half later, so it was like 10 maybe or so, and there's like a good crowd there. There's like, you know, 40, 50 people or so, and I'm like, oh shit, like this is going to be great. And then the next band, so the band that played at 11, actually like was the biggest band there, like had a following, like, you know, I checked them out on Spotify, they had some streams and whatnot. Their show, like, and all the bands before them were like, you know, nobody had heard of them. Doesn't mean they were bad, they're actually pretty good, but the band starts playing at 11 a.m. They like, you could tell they were on tour, they were like, yeah, it's like our 3rd show in 3 days, like they were really fucking good musicians, like you could tell they had their shtick down, like they knew exactly what they were doing. Everyone left during their set. Not, I think, because they were bad. I think it was just like, okay, well, it's like 11:30. Like, I'm good. I've heard enough music.
Let's go to the other bars.
Yeah, honestly, though, it was just like from they started playing, there were like 40 people there. When they left, it was just my friends who came to see me. And like, that was it. And I was like, oh, shit. Like,
But
so
you rocked out for your friends.
But, we rocked the fuck out for my friends. It was great because I was just like talking into the mic. I was like, hey guys, like, what's up? Like, who wants to come on stage with us?
That's honestly like sometimes those moments where you can sort of break that, or well, like, I'd say breaking that fourth wall. But like when you're on stage and or like. Even if you're in the audience and you feel so removed from the person you're watching, and sometimes like that's the desired effect to make it like this like crazy experience.
It's like, oh my god, these people are so cool. Yeah.
But I definitely I've tried to be like the suave frontman sometimes. It's not my shit.
It's not your shit.
I'm like quirky and weird.
You seem
and,
like you play off the crowd kind of guy.
Oh,
too.
you have to. And
it's so much
like,
more fun.
It's way more fun and like being less serious. Like just I feel like. If that's the vibe, then everyone's sort of like a little more like apt to kind of just hang out and enjoy themselves.
For sure. Do you guys ever / still get stage fright?
Yeah, a little. I think a little bit. It's weird. Like
you can't prevent your body from doing whatever it does.
Hey, that's a great spin right there. Like can't prevent it. If my body wants to make me throw up, that's on it. It's not my fault.
It took a while for me. It was until I got my the equipment I'm using now. I was always pretty nervous, but as we practiced together more and really honed in on our sound and got the things we needed to get to be comfortable up there, then it started to go away for sure.
Gotcha.
I definitely think the weight of the show factors a lot into like the stage fright or just anxiety prior to playing.
Yeah.
Like I'll admit, like I generally these days don't get any sort of stage fright or like bodily reaction to going to play.
Yeah.
But before we played the Sinclair set, I was like,
this is pretty cool.
Well, I was like, oh, it was really cool, and I was like, oh shit, like I'm also playing at the Sinclair.
Yeah,
that's sort of one of those moments that like kind of like it gets to you a little bit in a good way, but then when you start playing and you see all your friends there, it's totally like, just melts away, So
that's dope.
It's fleeting, but still sometimes it's good.
That makes sense. I think that's good to hear. Also,
we're only human.
Only human. So we should wrap it up pretty soon. I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. Also, I'm sweating a lot right now.
You could tell.
You could tell. Oh, dude, I do not.
Too.
I do not hide it well. Also,
I know we're intimidating, man. But,
dude, I'm gonna be. You're talking about the Sinclair. I had my Sinclair moment when I was standing out on those steps and be like, oh my god, they're here. Fuck. Like I better be on my A game. Plug yourselves. What do you get? What do you guys got coming up next? You just finished a tour. Or you're still in the middle of the tour.
We're sort of like in a bit of a lull right now. Intentionally recoup. Eat some good meals.
Yeah.
Hit the
sleep.
Gym.
Yeah.
Sleep. And then we'll be right back at it. I think basically beginning of October. We're kind of.
Yeah, we're gonna play Concord, New Hampshire.
Okay, cool.
And we're gonna head over to Chicago and LA.
Oh yeah, that's so cool. You're doing those in weekends, or you can take a little time off?
Chicago and LA in the same weekend. Yeah.
You're doing Chicago, LA. So what are you doing? Like flying out Friday? Are you playing Friday, Saturday night?
We're flying out. Are we flying out Wednesday or Thursday?
Okay, that like.
Yeah, we're taking a couple days for it.
Yeah, there's no way you could.
we got Thursday and Friday night, I think. So, it's a little harder because we never played Chicago to get a Saturday. So.
Right. That's cool though. Chicago and LA. That's gonna be sick.
It's gonna be fun.
That's gonna be so fun.
We get like a day to screw around in LA, which is kind
of.
Oh,
that's awesome. Have you guys been before?
Yeah, we played a couple years ago.
Oh, you did?
At the Sunset Marquee in West Hollywood, actually.
Oh, my sister lives in West Hollywood.
Yeah, I think it's West Hollywood. I don't know.
Somewhere.
It's like on Hollywood Boulevard. It's like.
Definitely could be West Hollywood.
Yeah. I just like to say
greater
Hollywood
area. Yeah. Well, Hollywood. You've been to Hollywood, right?
Hollywood. Yeah.
Hollywood sucks. Hollywood's like the shittiest part of LA.
Yeah. But we get to stay in like it was called the Sunset Marquee. It was like this super bougie like rock star hotel.
Oh wow.
They put us up because we were playing there, and it was a weekend of just like pretending we were rock stars,
right?
And then taking a red eye back on Sunday and going straight to work.
Live the life you envision yourself.
You gotta live through intention,
But that's really cool. The ultimate, you're like Mr. Incredible. With you have your day job at the desk, and then you put on the cape and you fucking play rock and roll.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, I like it. Okay, cool. And I guess final question is, what advice do you have for other bands, kind of? Maybe like in similar stages or like, stages that you guys were in a few years ago where you have this really great thing going, but like you're just wondering how you can really take the big step and like break through a little bit.
You know, we asked the same question to
I'm sure.
Kongos actually.
Yeah.
A couple years or several years ago now, because we were like, man, you guys are so successful right now. Like, how did you get like what?
That was after those. I'm only joking. And then what was the other big song?
Come with me now.
Come with me. Yeah.
Which were like it was a dream opening for them.
Yeah.
And then, you know, where I was like how did you do it? Like how did you get to where you are? And they were just like, you just gotta keep playing.
They said it was their 7th tour and it was their first profitable tour.
Wow.
And so that was pretty eye opening to us because we're like, we have to do this 7 times again.
But the goal is that you should want to do it 7 times, right?
Yeah.
You should want to get to that. And it seems like you guys are doing a good job of keeping it fun.
If there's any advice I have, it's to always maintain a good perspective on what you're trying to do and also who you are.
Yeah.
Because if you're trying to be someone that you're not, then people just aren't going to connect with that. And, you know, it's taken us a while as well to figure out, you know, what kind of music we're all trying to make and what's best for all of us and all of our interests. But in addition to like really being persistent, you know, you gotta really understand what sound you're trying to make and where you're going to fit into the whole machine that is music.
That's really good advice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, thanks a lot for coming on, guys. I really appreciate it. Dionysia, go check them out. Dionysia Official on Instagram.
Yes.
Regular Dionysia on Spotify. What's the website?
DionysiaBand.com.
DionysiaBand.com.
And just so y'all know, it's DIONYSIA.
Oh, that's a good point. Yes.
Just to clear up any confusion down the road.
If you made it this long.
Has that been
this long.
Has that been to just get the spelling? Have you guys had people like search and be like, I literally cannot fucking find you guys?
Oh, we've gotten like Dionysia, dialysis.
Dialysis is pretty good.
I can't tell if that was a joke. I think it was a joke.
Maybe.
But I wouldn't.
People are pretty.
I wouldn't put it.
dumb.
You know, we find that people get it right the first time. They're like, yeah, I thought it was Dionysia, but then I was like, no, the Y is throwing me off. Like,
Dude,
it's Dionysia.
I feel like when you have something spelled where you're like, every single possible pronunciation of that word will be said by someone.
Oh, 100%.
Like one of my best friend's last name is Pangakis, so it's Pangakis. Like Greek, like I understand, like people like reading, they're like, oh, that's foreign, so maybe like Pinyaki or something like that. I have heard just from like growing up with him, maybe 50 different pronunciations of that. Like things that I was like, how did you even come up with that? You know what I mean? Anyways, Dionysia, go check them out. They're great. Just kidding, Dionysia.
we would accept it. That's within the margin of error.
Within the margin of error. Thanks, guys.